Chapter 9, reflexive verbs. A verb is reflexive when the subject and the object are the same. For instance, you sentence, I wash myself. The subject is I. The verb is wash, and the object is myself. Since the subject and the object are the same, then the verb is considered reflexive. In the sentence, I wash the car, same thing goes with that. I is the subject, wash is the verb, and car is the object. And since the subject and the object are different, then the verb is not reflexive. Another example of how a verb can be either reflexive or non-reflexive. I scratched myself. The subject is I. The verb is scratch, and the object is myself. And since the subject and the object are the same, then the verb is reflexive. I scratched the dog. The subject is I, the object is dog, and the verb is scratch. So the subject is different from the object, so that is not a reflexive verb. When a verb is reflexive, the infinitive ends with say. So lavar, which is to wash, is non-reflexive. Lavar se would be the reflexive form. Rascar is to scratch. Therefore, rascar se would be the reflexive form of to scratch. There's one reflexive verb you've used from the beginning of Spanish, which is to call oneself, which is llamarse. ¿Cómo se llamas usted? What do you call yourself? Me llamo Juan. I call myself Juan. Note, a more natural translation would be, what's your name? My name is Morgan. When we learn to conjugate regular verbs, you need to learn a set of pronouns called subject pronouns. Lavar. Yo lavo, tú lavas, él, ella, ustedes lavan, nosotros, nosotras lavamos, vosotros, vosotras vías, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes lavan. To conjugate, to learn to conjugate reflexive verbs, you need to learn the difference between the pronouns called reflective pronouns and the pronouns that are positioned before the verb. While the ending say is dropped and the verb is conjugated normally, like for instance, with the word lavarse, yo me lavo, I wash myself. Or same with lavarse, tu te lavas, you wash yourself, which is informal. Él se lava, he washes himself. Usted se lava is she washes herself, and nosotros nos lavamos, we wash ourselves. Nosotros nos lavamos, we wash ourselves. Yeah, we wash ourselves. Vosotros os laváis, which is the informal version of you all wash yourself. And ustedes se lavan, you all wash yourself, which that was the formal. And they wash themselves, which is ellos se lavan. The reflexive pronouns are not subject pronouns, but they are object pronouns. Mi, me, te, se, nos, os, and se. The purpose of the reflexive, the object pronoun, is to show the action of the verb that remains with the subject. Juan se lava la carta. Juan washes his face, which is reflexive. Or Juan lava su carto. Juan washes his car. When referring to body parts, we use the definite article. Thus, la carta is turned into su cara. Many verbs can be made reflexive. All it means is the verb is reflexive, is that the action remains with the subject.